What if one of the most powerful banks on earth quietly changed sides in the middle of the market and almost no one noticed? What if a single position flip involving 800 million ounces revealed more about the true structure of global markets than decades of official explanations? For years, investors were told the same story. Markets are transparent, prices are fair, and the biggest institutions play by predictable rules. But today's story challenges that assumption. Because when J.P. Morgan reversed a position of historic scale, it didn't just move capital, it exposed stress fractures in the financial system itself. The question isn't whether it happened. The real mystery is why it happened at that moment and what it signals next. To understand this reversal, we need to step back into the architecture of modern financial markets, specifically the world of derivatives, futures, and paper claims versus physical reality. J.P. Morgan is not just another bank. It is a primary dealer, a market maker, and a central pillar of the global financial system. When institutions like this take massive positions, they don't do it on a whim. These positions are often tied to hedging strategies, client exposure, regulatory incentives, and sometimes systemic pressure. For years, J.P. Morgan held one of the largest concentrated positions in the market, widely believed to be a massive short exposure tied to derivatives. This position wasn't static. It grew, evolved, and became deeply intertwined with broader market stability. But behind the scenes, something was changing. Inventories tightened. Physical supply became harder to source. Volatility increased. And quietly, the risks of maintaining that position began to outweigh the benefits. The twist? The reversal didn't come during calm conditions. It came at a breaking point. The origins of the 800 million ounce position trace back to an era of aggressive financialization. Paper contracts expanded far beyond physical supply. Leverage increased. Liquidity was assumed, not tested. Large institutions took on dominant roles, effectively shaping price discovery through scale. As long as confidence remained intact, the system held together. Cause and effect were simple. Abundant liquidity allowed large positions. Large positions reinforced price control, and stable prices justified continued leverage, until they didn't. As markets matured, the position grew not because it was risk-free, but because it was systemically tolerated. The assumption was that any imbalance could be managed, rolled, or offset. But each extension increased dependency on smooth market function. Each renewal assumed counterparties would always show up. Each cycle reduced margin for error. The position became too big to unwind quietly and too dangerous to maintain indefinitely. This is where cause and effect begins to accelerate. The breaking point arrived when physical constraints collided with financial promises. Supply tightened, delivery pressure increased, volatility spiked. Suddenly, paper exposure wasn't just theoretical, it carried real-world consequences. At this moment, J.P. Morgan flipped long. An 800 million ounce reversal isn't a trade, it's a signal. It suggests a recognition that the risk had changed sides. What was once profitable to suppress or hedge became dangerous to maintain. This wasn't panic, it was survival. The immediate fallout wasn't dramatic headlines. Instead, it appeared in subtle ways. Price behavior changed, volatility regimes shifted, and liquidity thinned at critical moments. Market participants noticed something different, but couldn't quite explain it. Behind the scenes, the system absorbed the shock by spreading it outward, to smaller players, to funds, to retail participants who never saw the original cause. This is how systemic risk hides by dispersing damage. Regulators attempted to reassure markets. Mechanisms were adjusted. Margin rules shifted. But none of these addressed the core issue. Too many claims chasing too little underlying reality. Each fix treated symptoms, not structure. And history shows us that when fixes fail, patterns repeat faster and louder. Today we see echoes everywhere. Record derivatives exposure. Concentration risk, liquidity illusions. Markets that appear deep until stress reveals emptiness. The same cause and effect loop persists. Leverage creates calm, calm invites risk, demands reversal. And when reversals happen at scale, they rewrite narratives overnight. So what does this story really tell us? First takeaway: when systemically important players change direction, it's not about opinion, it's about risk migration. Second takeaway: paper stability can mask physical stress for years, until suddenly it can't. Third takeaway: the biggest moves often happen quietly, long before headlines catch up. The warning is simple but uncomfortable. Markets don't break where people are watching, they break where assumptions go unquestioned. And the open-ended question remains. If an 800 million ounce reversal was necessary then, what reversals are being prepared now? If this story made you rethink how markets really work, like the video, subscribe for deep dive analysis, and share your thoughts below, because understanding the past is the only way to see the next shock before it arrives.